Hey guys, Nathan here, and today we're going to do an easy full body workout. I want to make a disclaimer and say that my form probably isn't that great. I recommend you either YouTube all of the different exercises to see what the correct form is. I feel like my form is pretty good, but just to be sure, and if you're particularly concerned about it. Otherwise, you could also go to a PT, but this is more of a home workout type thing. It's also a full body because I feel like, or at least for me, I like to do full body instead of doing like alternating days. I don't know, I just tend to like to do that more than alternating days, like doing back and bicep and stuff like that, where you alternate days. In the future I might start doing that, but for a start, I feel like it's just easier to do a workout that's similar to this. I've got basic core exercises that I'll do for every workout, and then I've got some other exercises that you can add in if you want to, but it basically covers the majority of your body. One thing that I never do is deadlifts because I am concerned about my form. I've never really learned how to do them properly, and if you do them wrong, that can be pretty bad. So I tend to avoid those, so I need to I don't really do many back exercises, so I feel like I need to add in something like a bent over row, which I've got listed as one of the extra exercises, so I might start implementing those into my own workouts. So the first thing that I do is I stretch quite a lot. I want to mostly stretch out my back. I feel like that's pretty important, but it also kind of warms up and preps your muscles a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is that. I don't really have that many recommendations for stretches, just do whatever makes you feel stretched out. It's different for everyone. Some people don't even stretch before working out, but I would recommend doing it because it really helps prevent injury. I feel like it gives you a better mobility as well. Yeah, I have no method. I just yank it, pull it, twist it, and like a bop it. Just realised that was what I was going with. Sometimes I'll go into like a corner of a wall and dig in to my shoulder blade, and that really helps. Because I don't have a ball thing to massage on. You know how you get this little massage ball? Or a tennis ball. I don't have one of those either. All I have is a basketball, which is a bit big to use for massaging and stretching. But anyway, I should also probably do some leg things. We can do some, I don't know what it's called, other than like footy stretches, footy kicks. I don't know. Go forward and across the body. Stretch the quad a little bit too. Oh, that's tight. So I do the good old stretch the it kind of pulls in your lower backy ass area. I'll take up my leg. This pulls my hamstring and my ass mostly, and then when I've held this one like this for a bit, I'll then pull it across, so it's going, instead of straight up, it's going more towards my shoulder, and that pulls more on the side of your kind of hip joint kind of ass area. Usually you hold a stretch for anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. That's what most people, or what you should do. I feel like most people don't stretch at all. Anything is really better than nothing. Now I like to roll a little bit. Roll on that mid to lower back. And then I switch to the other side, where I'll do the, whatever this yoga pose thing is. I can't always stretch with straight arms. Oh, I seem to be able to today. But usually, if you can't do that, you can go on your elbows or kind of half do it. But sometimes this hurts me, so I don't always go all the way up. And then I stretch down. I forgot to do it. I usually try and stretch out my tendon too. So I'll go up to something and stretch that. Just walking forward and stretching on that. I usually do that before I get on the bike though. Then I move on to doing push-ups, or I do two types of push-ups. There are many types of push-ups that you can do, many variations depending on what your level is. I am terrible at push-ups. I'm not very good with my shoulders and not really that strong in that exercise. So the first thing that I do is push-ups. Why? Because that is my most difficult exercise and I like to do that while my muscles are quite, they're not depleted, because then I can get more reps out of it and it kind of warms me up for the other exercises that I do with my upper body. What ones do? I do knee push-ups. I usually do like anywhere from 10 to 20. I might do 2 sets of 10. I do tend to do better if I stay consistent and then I can actually work up, but I haven't done it for a while, so I'll only be able to do 10, I think, maybe. But I also do some incline push-ups, which I feel like it's a really good exercise for actually doing proper form in a push-up and learning that, so then you can translate that into being on the floor. Because I see a lot of people, when they do push-ups, they flare out and push up like that, when you're supposed to push up more like in. Because imagine that you're pushing something. How do you push? You push like this. You don't push like this. You don't have power doing this. You have power doing this. So you need to learn to train yourself to do this exercise, because this is how you're actually going to like push something like in the real world. This is how you push. So it's a good way to learn that's how you're supposed to do it, because this is how you push something if you're trying to push something in real life. So why would you push something like this? So I tried to add a light because it's a bit darker in here. This is the bathroom, like the ensuite. So there's not as much light in here, but I added a light and that didn't really do much. I can't be bothered getting my massive like lights. This is just one on the top of the camera. So if it's really dark in this clip, I am sorry. But this is where I do the incline push-up. You can also do them on the wall. This is not a wall. I'm not going to demonstrate on this because it's glass. But I'll demonstrate in the incline push-up on this instead. So this is where I do it usually. So I'll do a couple to show you what I'm doing. So I try and press all the way down and all the way up. Elbows tucked in. So basically I was trying to press all the way down and keep my elbows tucked. When doing a push-up or a knee push-up, it's the same thing. You need to try and keep that same form. A lot of people, when they do push-ups, even when they try and do it on their feet, they put their arse up and they bend with the front only, not putting down their whole body. So you need to really work on flattening it out and kind of compressing your abs and that kind of and your ass, and that kind of keeps you nice and straight. I would recommend having like a yoga mat thing or something to stop getting carpet burn if you're on carpet, because it can hurt. A good way to measure where you should put your arms is just go flat on the ground, and then where you would feel you would push, like if you're pushing something, that is where you push up from. So it's like just like kind of where your armpits are and about shoulder width apart. So you can also start from the ground when you do push-ups if that's easier for you. So you can just go all the way down and then all the way up. I think that's a bit terrible, but anyway. So I'll do a couple of things. I don't know if I'll be able to do 10. Then, since I've taken off my watch, I usually just take off my watch straight before doing this and then I'll have it on the ground. So then I can time doing a plank. So that's the next thing that I do. So usually I would do a 1 minute plank. So when doing a plank, it's also the same thing. Try and keep nice and flat and tense up like your abs and your ass, and that will definitely help you keep nice and straight. So I just do on my elbows. You can also do it like that, but I think most people do it on their elbows, don't they? So keep nice and tensed. So then I move into doing Russian twists. So when I do Russian twists, I use weights usually to hold. You can also use a basketball. There's like a thing to hold so you can move better. So you can do Russian twists in different ways too, I think. I think you can keep your legs on the ground and do it. and twist. But what I tend to do is put across my legs so I don't like fly around everywhere, and then you twist each side. Oh, crap, my back. Okay, now we're going to do some squats. So with squats, I'm going to do traditional squats, so they're about shoulder width apart and you keep pretty straight feet and then you just squat down. This is not like ass to grass, this is just like mid squat. If you're doing ass to grass, I feel like it's a bit better to do a wider squat and then you can squat all the way down much easier. So those are the two variations that I will do, but at the moment I'm just going to do a regular squat. Shoulder width apart, and you keep your arms up, so then you kind of keep your posture nice and straight, so you want to try and keep your chest up, so then your back stays straight, so you need to try and keep a straight back. So when you do a squat, it's kind of, when you do that, it kind of helps keep you up straight. So that's what I recommend to do. Some people do hold their hands like this, you can do that too. Some people use weights and they hold them above their, like across their back, like with a barbell. I don't do that, I just do body weight squats. Bit wobbly. Ooh. You want to try and keep the weight on your heels. So just before I didn't, and you could see I started to lose my balance. So I usually would do like 20 of those in a set. Triceps are very important, at least that's what I've mostly heard. Triceps actually take up quite a lot of your arm. There's like 3 different heads and they kind of attach like to your back and to like, they attach to different parts, but it's quite a lot of your upper arm. There's a couple of different exercises you can do for triceps. You can do like extensions over your head, so when they're overhead, but I'm not very good with that because of my shoulders. I will get stuck very easily. You can do them on a bench, so that's called a skull crusher. I don't know if they're also called skull crushers when they're overhead, but I tend to not do those. Instead, what I do are either dips or tricep extensions. I think I'm just tired because of all the talking. I don't usually talk this much during a workout. Dips, you just use kind of anything around you. It's pretty home workout friendly. So I feel like I'd recommend that to most people. Otherwise you can do extensions with, if you have like rope bands, which is what I've got, rope bands like this. You attach this over your door and then you can pull those. So I do a couple of exercises with those. So when you do that, you're just kind of extending just your tricep when you do that, compared to a dip where you're like on the thing and then you're pushing down. So those are 2 different exercises that are pretty home friendly, or well, of course that one, but I don't really recommend doing that one unless you've got like someone around you that can spot you, especially if you're doing it just standing up overhead, because you can get stuck. I don't really trust using a, what do you call it? A chair. I don't really trust using a chair because I feel like it's going to fall over, which is ridiculous because it probably won't. So I use a bed frame. They're a bit lower as well, so when you're doing a dip you can adjust like how difficult it is to you, so you can move your legs out if you want it more difficult and further in if you want it a little bit easier, because you can use your legs to assist you. Position them behind you, your legs wherever you see fit, and then you just dip down. This is not like a strong enough band for me, so I double it up. This must be like a low resistance band. So I double them up. So they got handles on them, and just kind of shove them on there. So I kind of walk back a little bit until my arm's like kind of being held up at like a 90 degree, so it starts off with some resistance. And then you just pivot on like your elbow and bring it down. So you try not to move your elbow, it's only an extension of your tricep. Also, when you're doing exercises, you want to try and have a nice, slow and controlled movement. You don't want to just like go, go, go like that, because then you need to actually feel like the contraction of the muscle, and you need to keep it nice. That also prevents injury if you're doing it slow. So you can do them where they're facing like this. So that's just like a regular curl. That's what most people do when they curl. You can also do hammer curl, so that's where it's sideways. There's also other variations where you switch and go down with a different way. I don't know which way it is, but that is also a variation you can do. You also try to keep these nice and slow and controlled and pivot at the elbow. You can also do this as an isolation exercise, meaning you kind of position your arms so you can't really move the upper half. This part sits flat and then you work it. So that's how you isolate. Do I do that? No. Do I have anything to do that? No. Next we have overhead press. Now, overhead press also can be a bit dangerous sometimes if you're not very strong in it. You kind of have to position it aligned with your head. Nice and slow and controlled, specifically with this exercise, because you don't want to do anything to... It's quite a dangerous position to be in sometimes. I'd recommend getting like an adjustable dumbbell like this where you can add plates, or you can just use something heavy around the house, like I don't know, what's heavy enough to be, you could use like a hammer, I don't know. For some exercises like lateral raises, you don't need much weight, so you could use like a soup can or something, but I'd recommend investing in some like dumbbells that are just like this. You can get them from like Kmart. I got these from like Aldi, I think. They're not too expensive. Before the pandemic kind of hit, I would do runs after my workouts. At the moment, I don't run because I don't want to run with a mask, even though I don't think you necessarily have to have one when you're running, but I don't want to risk getting in trouble for not wearing a mask. So I took the exercise bike at home and have been using that instead, and I'll do like a half hour on the bike on the lowest setting. So I think that's about all for all these exercises. So basically look up the correct form. Most of these exercises I'll either do, like the ones with weights, I'll do 8 to 12. I aim for 10 reps. So adjust your weight until you can do that amount of reps for like 4 sets, I'd say. 3 to 4 sets, and then other exercises like squats and Russian twists I do more like 20, and I'll only do a couple of sets of like the different types of push-ups depending on how I'm feeling about doing push-ups on that day, because I'm not very good at them, as you've seen, or don't have the stamina, more like. If you can't do different exercises or you can't do the same amount of reps and stuff, as I said before, that is totally fine. Everyone goes at different paces, so don't feel like sad or anything if you can't do certain things. There are different exercises you can do instead. Like there's so many variations of push-ups that you can do. You can do it on a wall if you can't do it like on your knees even. Like there's so many different ways that you can do these different exercises. So I hope that's been helpful. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment if you tried it or not, or if you're going to try it, and subscribe if you want to see, well, probably not more workout related things. I don't think I've made any other workout related, fitness related videos before, but I might try. If I get more into fitness, I might do some, I don't know. But yeah, I usually don't do these types of videos, but if you enjoyed it, let me know. So that's all for today, and I'll see you later.